What are the differences between racism, discrimination, prejudice, and stereotypes? In my opinion, differences are actions that include belief, thoughts, and also racism can be explicit, that are attitudes or beliefs that we have about a group, and implicit, that are unconscious thoughts that we have about other groups, like we don't know. Prejudice and discrimination, it has three stages. The first one is it's in society. Often happens in people or groups that have power or are in a group of economics that are in the top, like has a lot of money. The second stage is social advantage, and third stage is the belief in minorities. Prejudice is an unjustified or incorrect attitude towards an individual, and discrimination is the belief or action toward an individual.
Okay, continue with the topic of the prejudice. The prejudice have five theories of how the prejudice exists in the humanity. The first one is the scapegoat theory, also called as the frustration aggression theory, and it's become from the defense mechanisms of frustrated people who to accuse a group of disadvantaged persons. It could be, like, for example, like the immigrants and the frustrated people from the country who think that they didn't have jobs for the immigrants, and that's who generate prejudice. The second is the authoritarian personality, the persons who think that they have a natural superior, and for that reason they have power over others, and that also create prejudice. The third theory is the culture theory, who claims for the prejudice could be found in everyone because all the people have culture, are products of the culture, and the culture in the past is prejudice, have a prejudice history about all the countries. All the countries have problems of prejudice in the past, and now people are products of the culture. The fourth theory is the social distance, because when you didn't link up with another group because they didn't exist in your social area, you didn't link it up so much with that people. So when you went to another place, or they come to your country, you maybe could have a prejudice for with this group of people because you have a social distance with them. And the last one is the race conflict theory, and in a way more simple is the power of the majority. When a lot of people have the prejudice and they are the majority, they impose like only true and the real truth. So if the majority say is not the prejudice, but if the minority say this is that a prejudice. And I will continue to my teammate Lia Nieto.
Speaking of institutional racism, speaking of institutional racism, it is that the type of racism that which is more difficult to detect because it is like so internalized in our generations because it has been already in our society through generations. So it's hardly rooted in the people, and sadly, it's kind of normal in these days. And well, in this type of races, it gives more privilege or benefits to certain type of population. You know, for example, the people who have like blue eyes and blonde hair and white skin. To give you an example, in the school, better opportunities are given to people who have like white skin and this kind of characteristics that I already give you. Or it turn it in the work area. To give an example, it usually happens that if they are like hiring a person with indigenous roots applies to a position, and another person that doesn't have like these roots also applies into the same uh, with the same work or the same like position, they usually give the work to the person who doesn't have the indigenous origins or roots, and that happens because they maybe think that the people who doesn't have like the indigenous roots can be like more like competitive to the work or effective. So this is like an example that happens like every day, also with the people with the African American. So it's very common in these days, and that's why it's so harder to identify. And in my opinion, this is one of the most dangerous type of racism. And well, to move on for the next section, let's go with our partner Angel Rodriguez, who will explain the difference between the four types of racial interaction.
Thank you, Elian. Thank you, Elian. You explained so well your topic, your concepts. Thank you, Elian. Thank you, Elian. Your topic is very interesting, and you explain so well the concepts. So let me start with my topic. Is the four types of racial interaction. I hope you understand all of them. The first one is pluralism. The pluralism is an ideological principle that considers the division of the society into the different social groups with the different ideas and the interesting as a strength and not as a weak. Social, cultural, ideological, religious, and ethnic heterogeneity is rhetoric about the pluralism. What is pluralism? The diversity that exists in one place. There's some groups. For example, in a class, there exists the athletic boys, the intellectual boys, the dance who the guys who want to dance, they like to dance, all the diversity and the group that exists in one place. This is the pluralism. The simulation. The simulation supposes the loss of precious cultural and traditional elements such as the language, the way of dressing, and the social and economical relation of the group, which generates deep crises that can last for a long time. The simulation can be voluntary, as is often the case with the immigrants. So, for example, when the immigrants people that go to USA, like maybe I have some family that lives in the USA, and when I go to visit, they say like, I don't remember how to say that word, or I don't remember the name of that. So it's the way to lose your culture, your language, some cases like that. It's often the case with the immigrants, or it can be not forced. It can be forced. Sorry. An example happens to the many minority ethnic groups with a given states in process of colonization. The second concept is segregation. The racial segregation consists of the separation of different racial groups in daily life, whether in restaurants, cinemas, bathrooms, schools, or when buying or renting houses. The segregation can be dictated by the law, or it can exist through social norms. An example of this is when the Jews could not enter to restaurants or cinemas due to the rules established by the Nazi government. The fourth one and last concept is genocide. The genocide is an act prepared with the intention of totally or partially destroying a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. For example, the Ukrainian genocide, the Rwandan genocide, the Nazi Holocaust, and the Ku Klux Klan. Like this group wants to destroy, or they use the violence to put at the finish of the group. So thank you, and I hope you all understand all the concepts that my classmates explain you. So thank you for your attention. Thank you, Elian.